So, welcome back. It has been quite some time since I first posted on YouTube, but I thought, you know what? It is time to actually take it seriously and start posting more on here. So, here we are. Before we get started, if you could please subscribe to my channel, it would really mean so much to me. Like, comment on the video, share it if you want to. Yeah, that would be great. So I thought, as in my first video, I did a little introduction to just myself and what I've been through. I thought that I would probably kick things off with talking about what prison is actually like. Now, there is this idea of prisons. We're going to talk from the female perspective, obviously. And there's this idea, we see things on TV, watch Bad Girls, Orange is the New Black, and everyone thinks that, is it actually like that? The answer is no, it is not like that. I mean, it's chaos at times, don't get me wrong, but obviously those kind of programs are so dramatized and yeah, for entertainment purposes. Although prison can be quite entertaining at times, yeah, it's just definitely not what you see on the TV. Although there are obviously elements that are true. I would say that, when there's this idea about what prison's like and the types of people that you'll find in prison. Firstly, let me start by saying, get rid of any idea of the types of people that you think will be in prison. I had the same idea. I thought, oh my God, who am I going to be surrounded by? It's going to be... It's typical, isn't it? Started recording and the dog starts barking. So here we are, back again. So I can't even remember what I was saying now. Okay, so the types of people that you expect to see there. I had the same idea. I thought, oh my gosh, what is it going to be like? I'm going to be surrounded by absolute lunatics, how am I going to make any friends? Let me tell you something. All types of people can end up there, from one end of the spectrum to the other, and everything in between. I met so many different women from all walks of life over the time whilst I was there, and I was surprised. I was so surprised, and I've made friends for life. Friends that I met in prison are going to be my friends for life. Now you have to remember, obviously we shared an experience that people can try to understand, but unless you've actually lived it, it's very difficult. I do my best to explain, but it's very difficult unless you've actually experienced it. So when you do make friends in there, you create a bond that is definitely like no other. So I met some absolutely incredible women whilst I was there, and I do always say, everybody is one bad choice away from going to prison. Doesn't matter who you are, you could end up there. Not with any intentions. You go out, something could happen and you could find yourself there. So yeah, I think it's important for people to bear that in mind. It's so easy to pass judgment and think, oh my God, you've been to prison, you must be, absolutely terrible person. It's not the case. We're not terrible people. We just made some bad choices, and that's why we found ourselves there. So, but overall, like when you're there, it's unusual. You're a bit like a dysfunctional family. I know many people think that when you're there, you should be living on bread and water and we should be living in absolute squalor. It's not like that. Obviously some prisons are maybe worse than others and maybe not as clean or maybe not run as well, but overall it's not so bad, and obviously you do get fed, you get heating and hot water. to some people's disgust. But you know, we still do have rights whilst we're there. And yeah, it's, you know, prison and people's experiences look completely different. So lots of people, you know, like my experience with prison could be completely different to one of my friends' experiences. It just how you handle your sentence, what you do throughout your sentence, whether you get involved in work and education, whether you keep yourself busy, or you just decide to go down the route of not giving a shit and, you know, arguing and fighting and challenging the officers. It can make your time a lot harder. It's definitely, I feel that it's important to play the game, and, you know, where you can try to, sorry, the dog's off on where you can try to, you know, get little wins, and, you know, it just kind of gets you through your time. And I think it's really important to take one day at a time when you're there. But yeah, overall in the prison system, there are, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not bigging it up at all. You know, don't recommend it to anybody, wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. The biggest, it's a very difficult mental battle whilst you're there. And yeah, it's really hard. As much as you can keep busy, you can't escape your own head, and you have a lot of time where you are locked in your cell. And during that time, it's a lot of thinking, and it is time where you can, you know, grow and process and, you know, think about the choices that you've made. So there's a lot of time to heal and to grow. You know, obviously, if you just be kind to yourself and allow yourself the time to be able to do that. But yeah, whilst you're there, like I said, there is lots to do. There is opportunities to be able to gain qualifications and like whether it be through a skill or through education, you can even get degrees. So yeah, if you use your time wisely, you can come out with being able to have something behind you in order to make that transition from being in prison back into the community a little bit smoother. I mean, I thought when I went to prison, I was like, shit, my life is over. One of the officers used to tell me, you're never going to work again. You know, no one's going to hire you. I mean, he was an absolute arse. But it's not like that. There are opportunities. You just got to, it does take a little bit of extra work, you know, from you. Things aren't just going to be handed to you. They might be a little bit more difficult, but there are organisations that will hire offenders, and there's something called Ban the Box, where there are certain jobs where they don't ask you whether you've got a conviction. So as a result of that, it makes it a lot easier. Obviously, some convictions are even harder, but it doesn't mean that you will not find employment. Like I said, just maybe a little bit more difficult. So excuse me, if you've been to prison, or you've just come out of prison, or you know someone who's been to prison, then just remember that there is still a life to be lived when you come out of prison. I'm going to obviously go into a lot more detail throughout my videos. I will read the comments, and if there are any like questions that I feel like you would like to be answered, then of course I'll make videos around that. Throughout my journey on YouTube, I kind of hate that word a little bit. I am going to post different things, so it's not going to be always solely around the criminal justice system. A lot of it will be, of course, and raising awareness for women within the criminal justice system, and, you know, alternative sentences as opposed to sending women to prison, because a majority of women are actually in prison for non-violent offences. So do they really need to be locked away? That's a whole nother video for a different day. But I will obviously at some stage, you know, maybe do some vlogs, and also, you know, what I'm getting up to now, how my life is now, and how much it has changed since being released from prison. It has taken me a long time, don't get me wrong, to not just coming on here saying as soon as I got out everything was amazing and I was living this fantastic life, because it wasn't, because I had to start again and I had to rebuild my entire life from scratch. So it hasn't been easy. It's definitely been a long road, but I'm in the best place that I have been. I've had some setbacks along the way, but you just keep going, and you know, now I have found myself in a lot more of a better position, obviously, than I was when I was released and prior to going to prison. So yeah, I will be showing you all along the way. So if you would like to follow this, my life, and hear more about my story, then please do kindly hit the subscribe button, like the video, comment. It all helps. I'm really keen to grow my YouTube, and yeah, so if you could kindly do that for me, I would be really grateful. So yeah, I shall see you all soon in my next video.